You have the power to create any milestone or goal and have it come to fruition in your lifetime. That is in your hands to achieve. You just have to be willing to go for it. And I think a lot of the time we get so caught up in fear about failing and things not going the way that we want that we don't ever take the first step.
Welcome to the Mindset Gym podcast, where we exercise your way of thinking to help unlock your hidden potential. I'm your host, Emily Irwin, a registered nurse and holistic nutritionist with a passion for all things health, fitness, and personal development. All right, let's get into it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Mindset Gym podcast. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you'll notice that things are a little bit different today. So we're trying something different out. I'm recording from my car just because I had a thought that crossed my mind, and I figured instead of waiting and filming this later, you know what, why not just do it now? We'll just get right into it. So I've been thinking a lot about how we spend our day-to-day lives, what we do, how we plan the things that we want to do in our life. And I think a lot of us fall into this trap of doing the things that society expects us to do. There's kind of that common trajectory of, go to school, get a job, get married, have kids, and we all kind of follow this structure that society has just kind of laid out for us. And I don't think a lot of us really give a whole lot of thought to whether or not that structure is something that we want, or whether or not we're doing these things because it's truly what we want and what we desire, or if it's something that we're doing because that's just what society expects us to do. It's just what we're used to seeing other people do, and so we just assume, that's the norm. These are the boxes I need to check, and this is the trajectory that I need to make my life take. The thing is, we don't have to do any of those things. You really don't. Your life is yours, and you get to decide what you create with it. You get to decide what you do. It is literally all in your hands. I mean, there are some things that are necessary, like you need to be able to pay for food and a roof over your head and things like that. So it does kind of require you to do things like get a job. But you have so much choice around those particular things. You don't have to pick a certain job just because that's what people expect from you, what people have told you need to be doing. You don't. You get to decide what your life is, how your life feels, how it plays out day to day. You have a lot more choice than I think people realize or give power to. But you really do have the ability to make this life whatever you want it to be. And I think that's a really amazing thing to kind of wrap your head around and really lean into the fact that you have all this power and this choice to decide. And so I want you to just take a moment today and just think about what is something that you want to do or create with your life that you are maybe holding yourself back from, or putting off because you're second guessing or worried about what other people are thinking. And I just really want you to think, like, if you could do anything, if nobody in the world was going to judge you, if you weren't going to fail, like if you just knew for sure that you were going to succeed at this thing, what would you do? What would you choose to pursue in this life? Because you can. The only person holding you back from actually doing that thing is yourself. And it's crazy to me that we do this, because I don't think we give enough weight to the fact that our life is so short. Really, when we think about it, when we think about the entire history of the universe and how much time this universe has been in existence, a human lifespan is just a drop in a bucket. It is such a small little blip in time, and then we're gone, and that's it. And that's kind of the only opportunity we have to make something of this life, and you don't get to go back and do it again. And so I think sometimes we don't really appreciate just how brief of a time that we have until we are, maybe facing the end of our life, or seeing a loved one facing the end of their life. And then it's kind of in those moments that the urgency hits you, when it really starts to hit home that, oh my God, I don't have as much time as I initially thought. And that really is the case. That really is something that I think you need to live every day keeping in mind. It is the fact that your life is so short. It's so short. And I know that sounds kind of bleak, but it's also not. It's also really amazing. Like, it's also kind of, this is my chance. This is my shot. to take it and run with it and make it everything that I want to make it. Because you can, because you get to choose. You get to, this is your life, and you get to choose what you do with it. And that's a really beautiful thing. That opens up so many avenues, and there's no sense in holding yourself back to try and fit somebody else's standards and to try and fit into somebody else's mold, because at the end of the day, if that's how you spend your life and it comes to an end, you can't go back. You can't go back and redo those things or change your actions and then decide to live your life the way that you wanted to, because that opportunity's gone. There's no do-overs, there's no second chances. This is your opportunity. Okay? So I don't want you to wait until it's too late to stop letting your fear and concern for judgment get in your way. This podcast is a really great example of a way that I'm kind of trying to lean into this, into what I'm telling you guys to do, because it was something that I had kind of mulled over and had in my mind for a really long time, and I put it off and I put it off, and I didn't really even give it any serious weight initially, because the thought of speaking to a camera or speaking to an audience felt so terrifying. And I worried about, what is this person going to think? What is this person going to think? How am I going to be viewed or judged for doing this particular thing? And it almost paralyzed me into not taking any action. And then, it just dawned on me one day that who cares? Who cares? If this is the thing that I want to do, it's my life and I get to decide, right? Like I have the choice to go and do this thing, and the only person whose opinion on the matter matters is mine, right? Like that's the only thing. The only person whose opinion about your actions and your decisions and your life trajectory that matters is your own. So live a life that you're proud of, right? Take steps to do the things that you want to do. And I think a good way to imagine this, I think it was Rob Dial who dove into this once before in a way that I really liked, and he looked at it from a lens of looking backwards. So he had this exercise where you would imagine yourself on your deathbed, which again, I know, a little bit bleak. It's a little bit bleak, but really good exercise, because he would have you imagine yourself on your deathbed, reflecting on what your life was and reflecting on what you would have wanted it to be. And I think putting it into that kind of perspective, it really kind of solidifies that sense of urgency that there is around it. So do this with me for a second. Just imagine yourself on your deathbed, and you're thinking back to what your life has been, what you've accomplished over your lifetime, the people you've interacted with, the impressions that you've made, the milestones that you've hit. What are some things that you hope are there? What are some things that you hope that you would have achieved, that you would have done, that you would have said, that you would have gone after? What are the things that come up for you that feel like really important key things that you really hope are there? And once you have those ideas in your head, start to work backwards. So let's say there's a certain milestone that you want to be on your deathbed reflecting on and saying, I'm really proud, I'm really happy that I did this particular thing. Okay, now let's work backwards. In order for you to achieve that particular thing, when in your life do you want to achieve it? Like what kind of timeline are you wanting to have this thing accomplished on? So once we figure that out, start to work backwards from there. What kind of steps are you going to need to take? What frequency? When are you going to need to start in order for you to actually achieve that goal at the time that you're hoping for? And then from there, you can kind of use that reflective practice to put together a plan of actionable steps to take in order for you to start working towards that goal now. Because you have the power to do anything that you want. You have the power to create any milestone or goal and have it come to fruition in your lifetime. That is in your hands to achieve. You just have to be willing to go for it. And I think a lot of the time we get so caught up in fear about failing and things not going the way that we want that we don't ever take the first step. because it feels so overwhelming that we just kind of sit and we just kind of marinate in that fear and we never move forward with anything productive. And so start with that exercise. Figure out what kind of things there are that you want to achieve in this life and take the first step today to start working towards it. Life is so unbelievably short. It's so unbelievably short. And I think we need to all really start living our daily lives with that in mind, you know? Live with that sense of urgency and the sense that you have the power and you have the ability to dictate what your life is. And don't let that power just, don't let it be wasted. Grab it, take advantage of it, and make this life everything that you want it to be. And my phone's falling. All right. So that's what I've got for you today. I just wanted to hop on here quickly and really just, dive into it and get into the details of it all, because I think it's really worth being aware of. I think sometimes we forget just how much power we have over making this life everything that we want it to be. It is your life to create. Go out there and create it. Okay? I love you. And if you're still here, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me rambling on in my car. I hope you have an amazing day today, and I will see you in the next episode.
If you like the show, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, or share the show with a friend. Your support allows this show to reach even more amazing people just like you, and it means the absolute world to me. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time at the Mindset Gym.